video because we're just gonna fucking go with it. You going?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Hey, we can do a cool guy thing and crack a beer. And cheer and toast. What should we toast to? Metal Jesus Hidden Gems.
Woo!
Yeah.
More PS1.
Need that. Need that Metal Jesus. Karma.
Cracking the cold with the boys.
This is a game dealer talk. I can't remember the last time we did one, but since the last time we did one, I went on a bipolar, manic, depressive, fucking downward, fucking something, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. My friends, I started fighting with people that are really cool, like Cris. So, it's been a while, Cris, and we're gonna do a game dealer talk now. I got 4 talking points.
Surprises to me.
We just got the wind picking up.
Yeah.
I hope audio's okay.
It's alright.
Got this strategy with Game Dealer Talk where I come up with some good talking points. Because Cris and I talk about video games all the time. Oh, that phone is shifting.
Yeah.
Is it good?
I'm gonna look at it.
Just is it?
Oh
feel
wow, I
secure?
see that. I can see it.
Should we restart this video, or is it good to roll on?
Just keep it going.
Okay. So yeah, Cris and I are constantly talking about our thoughts on. We speculate,
Just
you know.
everything. Everything video game related.
We talk about the psychology of, because we do a lot of local business, local meetups. We do those trade events at the warehouse and stuff, and we walk away kind of analyzing like, I think so and so's pretending they're a collector, and really they're just flipping stuff on eBay. Lo and behold, it turns out they aren't. Just whatever, you know. We talk a lot because we're both game dealers, and we both try to stay as sharp as possible, so that we don't get ripped off and so that we maximize profit margin. Let's be honest. It's kind of
want to keep our spears as sharp as possible.
That's the you know, it's one thing if you got a really good friend of yours that wants Earthbound, sell them Earthbound for $50. A really good friend of yours. You know what I'm saying?
You know.
I'm saying that sincerely, like talking childhood best friend of yours, and he gets into video game collecting, but he's poor. I don't be very hypothetical, but it's another thing to a total stranger that gives you a sob story or something. Sorry, man. It's. I should get into
We'll
the
bring that into. Yeah, we'll roll that into.
Because I want to go over my talking points, and that's one of them is form, MJR FOMO, which means fear of missing out. And when I say form, I mean how you present yourself when you're negotiating, when you're dealing, when you're communicating with a buyer or with a seller. And then, if we get time, Cris, touch on labels.
Ooh, okay.
I know
I really
that was
like that.
a topic we kind of talked very briefly about earlier today, and then I'll close on my quick thoughts on collusion with market manipulation with PS1 games. Kind of feeling it. I feel like there's some rings of investors that are focusing on PS1, and they're using talking heads to get their investments up. So I'll even tell you which titles I think are ones to watch their nonstop ascent. So I want to start with MJR, fear of missing out.
All right.
So obviously a Hidden Gems video comes out, and what happens when the MJR does
Titles get legs on eBay, get bought up. Everyone, you see good games. Everyone wants to play them. Run over to eBay, and we know from past experiences this isn't the first time he's done a Hidden Gem. This is the pattern.
Yeah.
Everybody runs over to eBay. They want to buy a copy to play it or collect it or whatever.
It's amazing how repeatable that pattern is, as far as the first hour, super ridiculous hot. That's where people are just buying the cheapest. They're not even checking a historical value.
Nope.
They're just going in blind, and then it starts to taper off. By day 2, it's 1/10 as hot.
And this behavioral pattern can actually tell you a lot about eBay buyers, and it could trail off into a whole other topic in the future of how just the people that are buying certain items,
I see
how they behave on eBay. They don't check, they don't know how to filter or any of that stuff. They just buy whatever they see.
I see what you're saying. They're
Versus your savvy.
They're not used to hunting for good. They don't know how to get good deals
Yeah.
on
Or
eBay.
what a good deal is.
So they
Quote,
just
unquote.
they see a good deal in the cheapest one on eBay. Bam, they buy
Yep.
it, you know. So that's why like games like Future Cop will go from 15 to 60 like the same day, and you'll get several. It'll stick at 60 and it'll just slide back down to 30. It's not going to go back down to 15. You know, it'll never will. It's
Never
now
will.
because it was a little bit disrespected in value before. You know, there were probably people that wanted to get one and they were too fucking stingy to pay 15 plus $3.95 shipping for a real mint one.
That gets into the whole like.
Should have just did it.
Collectors just want to feel so safe these days.
Mm-hmm.
That'll tie into.
If it's
form
sitting
and
on
everything
eBay
later,
with a
but-
buy it now, they naturally feel like it must be retail or too
Yep.
expensive. Otherwise, it would be gone. Everybody wants the price.
Drop the cojones and just buy it.
Yeah, you need big balls to get quality stuff in your collection in 2020 at this rate. You know, otherwise MJR's
You
gonna
gotta
keep
get-
exposing titles, and you're gonna wish you did. So.
On top of that, real quick, to add to that thought, yeah, it's 2020. You need to get these fantasies of like 2005 garage sales out of your head.
Yeah.
That stuff's never coming back.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like you're not getting the stuff out of the wild nearly as often. It's like mining for Bitcoin.
When
It was-
smartphones became a thing, like the wild basically disappeared, in my opinion.
It's just so much of the soccer, the hauls out of the attics have been unearthed now. So that's what. So what happens with the FOMO surge? Chris referred to it as the legs disappear. That's. I don't even want to bother explaining what legs are.
Basically,
These are
it's just the cheapest
copy.
examples on eBay.
Yep. So if somebody wants a really mint CIB, well, they're gonna go buy the cheapest mint CIB. If somebody just wants a playable copy, they'll buy the cheapest one that where the seller says tested working or whatever, and that one's gonna go. So every cheapest of satisfying person X goes away until you're. What happened with all those PS1 titles too is they just pretty much went bone dry for a hot second, and then sellers started pouring on to try to get top dollar. So that's kind of what happens, and I think most people know that. I'm not blowing any minds here. And then I think a big reason why you get the biggest stupidity in the first hour is because of titles like Samurai Western that not only did MJR, take a 25er and explode it, but it stayed up. Yeah, because that was like truly an uncommon, really cool game. So, so they have fear of missing out on that kind of a title. And they don't know if it's Future Cop. They don't know if it's this, that. I can tell you, I know because I've been following a lot of these titles, and I know how often they surface naturally, and
their previous history.
based on previous history. So like Future Cop, that surfaces once every couple days on eBay. Just give this game a couple months, and it's gonna come back down. Never to 15 again. It'll be a 30. The best gem that he cranked up was Trag. Trag's gonna sit. Trag's not gonna come
One thing
back
I
down.
don't like
to 30.
about Trag though is it's a harder title to search for. As in like the
I hear
title is not optimal. It's not just words. It's periods, and people can get weird with that.
You're getting
crap.
specific.
I know, but
It comes up
that's the
though.
stuff
Like
I think about.
most people who list it though, write Trag
Sure.
and Trag's spaced out with periods.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what happens. I got a few little
Yeah,
talking points on this. Excuse me. Another talking point I want to go over here is making of an MJR golden gem. I had to coin a new phrase here. Can you guess what I mean by a golden gem? Samurai Western was a golden gem. So Metal Jesus called Samurai Western a hidden gem. I go no, that's golden gem. I go no, Trag is golden gem. That's not. You know what I mean? That one's gonna stick.
They're gonna stick, and they're gonna keep going.
It's now a pricey one.
But it takes a special combination to create that.
Yes.
Of course.
And that's Chris and I call it a disrespected game, a game that just has all the collectible attributes of a $200 game, and it's including how often it surfaces, including how sexy the publisher is.
Yes.
Shelf appeal, gameplay allure, like all this comes into play. Other titles of the same genre, similar makeup and their value, and then this one just being strangely lower, and it's all these things can make you look at a title and go, I'll bet you could get pricier. You know, Clock Tower 3 when it was $25 just a few months ago.
Yep.
You called that one out. You were like, dude, I like this. Why? Simply
Got
because you looked at
Capcom,
Haunting Ground.
Beautiful cover.
Yep.
Of course, it's a horror.
Yep.
PS2 horror. Yep.
So,
Awesome, Mrs. Minnie.
so that was a golden gem. You know, you at 25, you're like, ooh, and
I had already seen, before having called it, I had already seen one or two game stores trying to get 40 retail in the store.
right, because
Just that kinda
they
game.
know they can.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, yep.
No, they can, and it's just like, you don't want to sell it for only 20, 25.
So, with makings of a golden gem, I don't think I want to go into any more detail than that. You know, it's
Save it, you know.
yeah, and that's something actually that
There's
when we talk about the
there's
algorithm.
infinite talking points. That's the problem, is I'm always, there's so many thoughts that go through the mind.
Word. We'll cover more how to identify a game that if Metal Jesus ever ordains, you're fucked. If you want this title, you're gonna pay more for it now, and Chris and I call it the value algorithm because we're nerds. We're both math nerds.
It's been a deep study process as well.
We like to quantify certain attributes and put them through a formula. And we don't literally have like a fucking Excel spreadsheet for this math equation, but you'll know when we talk about it. You'll nod your head along and say that makes sense. You know, there's a reason why Snatcher is what it is. You know, and Magical Chase on Turbo. It's just certain attributes. Sometimes it's extreme rarity. Sometimes, well, look at me, I'm talking about it. Let's move on. On the MJR FOMO, I got a couple other quick ones. How this will affect his channel. Oh, that's a good one. So if you want to weigh in at all, I just these are my talking points. I can monologue this. How this affects his channel? Well, I think Metal Jesus is fully aware that he can't stop doing hidden gem content. It is his bread and butter. It is what has really created him or given him a.
It's what's kept him alive.
Kept him alive. It's what's grown him to nearly 1 million subscribers, and he gets a little experimental with the little
outside of the box.
Yes.
It doesn't do.
It doesn't perform as well. So he's gonna need to stick to the hidden gem stuff. And why does that stuff perform the best for him? Well, the last video I did, and Chris was in the warehouse for that, when I was showing my PS1 hidden gems, it's because he affects the market. He's a market influencer.
It's because all collectors are value driven, subconsciously or not.
Yes. So if you can influence value, you have the attention of any kind of collector, whether you're a fake collector who's just trying to invest, or if you're a true hobbyist collector that wants, obviously you can build a better collection if you're thriftier. You know, you can extend your dollar further. So if everybody's on a budget, right? So if you make 50 grand a year, and maybe let's say every year you got only $3,000 to play in your hobby, maximize it, man. So that's why everybody they find this content to be in demand. Any thoughts on that? So to close on how it's going to affect his channel, well, he's going to keep doing it. Negative backlash from market hikes, is a problem. He doesn't like that.
Yeah.
As Silverwings quoted, I love this quote,
yes.
"He who cannot offend cannot be honest." And that is so true. Just think about it. Meditate on that. Anybody who tries to walk that line where they are offending nobody, they're keeping thoughts to themselves. They're keeping secrets. They're not
honest to yourself or others.
Yep, because you can't win them all. It's like some people are in favor of the market rising because they've been doing this for 20 years. They have tons of stuff, and they look at it like that. They always have. They've self-sacrificed by putting money aside that they could have had fun with, and they put it into plastic on their shelves. Like, naturally, there's going to be people that love the market rising. I do, Chris does.
Everybody does deep down.
And we think a lot more. I'm actually, that's in my talking point of the next thing. So let's hold on to the the collectors in disguise, man. So So while some people love his influence on the market, there's other people that hate it. They try to pretend like they're gonna tune out of his channel because he keeps messing with the market. I think Metal Jesus, there's a reason why he picks. There's background noise that's gonna distract the fuck out of me, but I'll try my best. There's a reason why he strategically picks a set of hidden gems that aren't all
Monsters.
golden gems.
Yeah.
You know what I describe as a
Outrageous
gold.
monsters,
He
yeah.
knows he can't do that. He's gonna do a few titles that are just common as shit, and he's gonna call it a hidden gem because he doesn't want to get this reputation like he's a market manipulator.
Yeah.
Um,
Or expose his mafia dealings.
Right,
Don't
you
wanna
know.
draw attention.
Because it would be very suspicious if like every single title he touched on was like those titles that I showed in my last video. Like, yeah, if he did one that was just a string of those, man, people would get pissed off because there's only a few on eBay of any of those titles.
I mean, back-to-back PS1 hidden gems is already kind of...
Yeah. I got a bit. I'm gonna close on that.
Oh, yeah.
Our advice. I'm closing on the MJR fear of missing out with our advice. What do we advise to the people with MJR? You have any advice?
Ooh, you go first.
All right, I'm monologuing. There's several things I could advise. If you're late to the video, don't buy the game.
No,
Let
wait.
it crash
Give
again.
it a month or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously I think everybody kind of knows that. Like
Yeah.
it cranks up, comes back down. If you're early to the video, if you're there on minute 1, and any of the titles that he exposes as a hidden gem is one that you've been either wanting or upon seeing it you say that is freaking cool, run over to eBay and go snag a cheap copy. You're safe as shit.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
get there early. Like, as far as if you like to value you look at your purchases as an investment or something that you don't want to overpay for.
Mhm.
Like, you're not overpaying if you're buying the cheapest buy it now on eBay of a title where there's only, let's be hypothetical, say there's 13 on eBay, you know, 4 of them are disc only, a bunch of them, 4 of them are just some random component or something, and then there's only like 3 CIBs. Go grab a cheap CIB. It'll be good. All right, I think I've beaten that one to a dead pulp.
All right.
You got any, or do you have any advice for him on the Metal Jesus?
The ultimate answer would be learn to identify them before the video.
I like that, man. That's what I try to do. Yeah, and so that you can get it when nobody's looking out for
Yep.
these games.
You know your publishers. When everyone's
It's a
going
great
right,
takeaway, man.
when everyone's going right, go left, kind of thing. Like,
Yes, dude.
Everyone's
yes.
going for GameCube, go for not GameCube.
Yes, that is fucking huge. I love that suggestion because, like, with Samurai Western, for example, like, you probably should have seen that one coming based on how collectible of an IP publish or what am I saying? The publisher of Atlas. It's very very collectible. So yeah, try to be ahead of the trends, right?
Mhm.
With that, I'm free to go on tangents and stuff.
Okay.
Little short ones. Do you have any suggestions on where to kind of be as a collector
With regards
to not going with the herd and kind of going where the herd might be going next?
Yeah.
I've been thinking Dreamcast.
Right now, absolutely. In 2020, absolutely.
I've been feeling Dreamcast,
It's- yeah.
high end and mid tiers. As crazy as the high ends already are.
I would 32X I do like still, but it certainly has been. I mean, seeing what's happened to some titles like
Spider-Man,
of course. I
some
mean,
of the grails are
it's
some of
clear
the
that
heavies
it's
are too high.
really starting to be. I mean, obviously, it's never coming back,
Yeah.
and of course, it could still go up higher, but like, it doesn't have the kind of growth potential that Dreamcast has. Now, of course, 32X is a small library, so it has that going for it. But
I feel like Neo Geo Pocket.
of course,
still,
that's gonna be my next
You
one.
know, and I guess my standard for saying it's a good place to put your money, I guess by that I mean, like, if you go and win yourself an auction for a Neo Geo Pocket Color lot or for a CIB,
CIBs.
and we suggest CIBs.
Heavily,
that's where your value is going to really be held.
ESRB, USA CIBs.
They're going to hold value like crazy.
See.
Very rare stuff.
That deserves like 5 Game Dealer talks. NGPC deserves.
Yeah,
some
we'll go
time.
into more depth on NGPC. Just
But-
think it's good investment stuff.
For good reason. for a very good reason.
And so I feel like you win yourself a NGPC auction, you might pay $100 for a game that only surfaces on eBay 3-4 times a year. So it's just, it doesn't seem like those prices are gonna be able to be this cheap for too long, you know.
Two really quick things on that topic, not to get too in detail, but it's a very small set, 32 games USA, and most of these things that are selling at auctions, they're all going into collectors, like true collectors' hands. They're not going to break up a 32 game full set where games surface as infrequently as they do CIB.
Think about that, yeah. Everybody who collects Virtual Boy and Neo Geo Pocket Color, they're in it for the full set.
Yep.
They can't help themselves. They might think they're not as they first enter, but you collect 6 Virtual Boy games and you're like halfway there.
Yeah.
16, and that's the thing. The first half of the NGPC library,
easy.
Very easy,
Well,
and relatively
loose,
inexpensive.
certainly, but
CIB's a
the
whole other
box has
animal.
it truly has changed from 2 years ago versus now. But
That's true. I haven't been really taking a close look at NGPC. I knocked mine out at the right time. Yeah, go into depth on that for a future video for sure. We love NGPC talk. I'll try to breeze through this one. This was going to be the meat and potatoes of my game dealer talk with
and
you.
what was this one?
Is form.
Okay, yeah.
Seller form, but I think we can buyer and seller form. But I think we can move quickly with it. Form. What's your definition of form? Because you were the one that Chris introduced me this concept of having form.
Form is, I mean, in its most basic terms, I guess, to describe it, it would be like how you carry yourself in your mind and in your actions when dealing with a seller or a dealer. What kind of, like, so there's good form and bad form. Bad form, for example, it's the easiest way to describe it. Just give an example. Bad form being
and make it a hyperbole. You know what I mean? Make it an extreme. Like give a terrible form example, and then do a really good form.
Terrible form being like you are disgusted with the seller's price. You tell them to kill themselves, and then you get very vocal and loud with them,
which you witnessed recently.
Which I did witness recently. And whereas good form is you accept that they're, in my opinion, they know how to sell. And that it's just not the piece for you. There will be other opportunities. Don't try to,
So you're from the perspective of a buyer with good form.
Yeah.
Sees a piece he wants, but
he can
price too high.
He can restrain himself.
Yeah, so he
but
keeps
that's
his form up.
That's only one of many examples. It applies in a lot of other ways too, like dirty tactics, which are bad form of showing like, oh well, this is what it's going for on eBay, doing a very specific search, trying to really manipulate in your favor.
Yeah.
Being.
Yep. That's. So, I got my
keep it going.
Order on how to go through this topic, and we'll touch on those damn dirty tactics, man. So, with form, you have to consider. I use the word psychology for lack of a better word here, but the psychology of the buyer, which is often the collector. They call it collector. We'll go into more detail on that. And then you should consider the psychology of the reseller, the dealer, the person with the item that is for sale. I guess the best word here is empathy. Be empathetic. Empathy means you can see it from another person's point of view. It's not all about you're the main character in this MMO called life.
Yep.
And you're living it YOLO style, and everyone else is NPC, right? Have empathy. If you have empathy, you will have good form, right? Wouldn't you say that? Like those with empathy tend to have better form, unless you're a psychopath. So with empathy as a buyer, you should understand that the seller is in a position where he's got liquidity in one hand and he's got return on his investment in the other, and it's a give and take there, right? You know what I mean? Like your liquidity goes way up if you're going to take less for it. You'll fly. The thing will fly out. Chris likes to try to get top dollar, but he also sells stuff that I'll just name some stuff. Magical Chase. Maybe I should name too many, and they might find. He's a very, very high end dealer. So he's going for top dollar. He's not in need of money. He's not like the person that found it in their garage and goes, wow, this is a really valuable piece and I could use this money right now. No. So liquidity goes way down when you're trying to get top dollar. So as a buyer, maybe consider that, you know, just understand that, I suppose. So I guess I want to get into just our, oh, that's right, we got some that's where like that's where we can get good here. But first let me address the collector in disguise versus the collector purist. This is almost like this is a great talking point here. Okay, so first, what do you want to? Which one do you? I'll let you decide.
Oh, collector in disguise.
The collector in disguise. I like that.
It's such a. You know who you are. You know who you are.
Do you want to? Because what's a collector in disguise?
A collector in disguise is someone that only buys stuff if they know they're super safe. I mean, that's a starting point.
What do you mean by that?
I mean by that like they, either they want to add pieces to the collection, or they're trying to complete a full set, but they won't.
Can I assist here?
Yeah,
I think I got a good fill in the blank. They are value-based decision making.
Yes.
100%. I realize it's getting dark now as the sun's setting. That's cool. That's fine as long as the audio works. That's all that matters. They make value-based decisions. It has nothing to do with their demand to actually play these games. You know what I mean?
They may say that, but
yeah,
we also live in a world of emulation.
And that's part of it. And that
can even be done on console. So.
Now you're not a collector in disguise if you're value-driven and you're transparent about it.
Yes, I understand there's the common argument. Of course, people will say like, "Well, yeah, I'm not going to waste my money." That's you always hear that. Well, I'm not going to waste my money. I'm not going to overpay for that. But then it's so strange how a year later, when the $20 title is $150 minimum on eBay, now they want it.
Yeah.
Now they want it.
Yeah, because it's
so
kind
strange. Where were you 2 years ago when nobody wanted this game? There was no attention on this game.
So what you're talking about how it's funny how demand correlates to value.
Yes, exactly.
Where it's typically demand that pushes a title up, but when a title becomes expensive or when it isn't expensive, there is an inherent demand behind them. Some people, there's demand for Dusty Diamonds on NES. That hockey. The stadium events has huge demand. It's not to play it. It's because people like to have graily chase pieces. I love that Canadian gamer helped me with that one. I use it all the time. Chase piece. Yep. I love that term.
Yep, it's a great one.
Pieces that you just want to chase down.
Clout.
For clout, yes. It's for your social media posts, for all the heart reactions.
Yeah, the people that need to I don't know, share their collection with everybody, let them know what they got.
That same kind of person definitely gets off on when they share it on social media and they get all these people PMing them like, "Hey, would you sell it?" And they go, "No."
Also, another thing I gotta touch on is for all the collectors, everyone's gonna sell eventually. All right, so let's get that out of the way.
Yes. Everybody's a reseller, man.
99.9%.
You are down the road, and they know it.
So I should be allowed to be a collector as well. I am. I have full set NGPC.
I collect NGPC.
And that's not for sale.
Yeah. Not yet.
Not yet. Unless someone wants to give me like $100,000, it's like, all right, fine.
Pay future value for it.
But yeah, I should be allowed to be a collector.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with it, but basically just the fact that they use that argument. There's always this like, "Oh, you're a reseller." It can only be one or the other.
They feign the dirty collector in disguise, and we kind of mix up the order of operation, but I'm fine with this, is they feign collector purism as they are purely gunning down value-driven, value-based. I want to get this before it pops, and then they can defend themselves still as a collector purist and say, well, that's how I'm going to maximize my collection. It's like, well, still, you're being very smart about going for PS1 right now rather than GameCube during the COVID absolute insanity. You know, I'm not sure if you noticed. Oh, you did notice it because you managed to move an Evolution snowboarding for a lot of money. Just stuff got too pumped up, man. So that's not a good time to be buying stuff. But it was amazing how certain people in our local area would be trying to specifically take
Push
those stuff that just seems way over peaked. And what do they? So they bring it out to our trade events.
Yeah, and they try to push it on us.
They try to. That's what they're trying to give to Dave and Chris. And what are they trying to get off Chris? And GPC, Saturn, which Saturn, while it is very pricey, it's just very liquid and very matured.
Now there are it depends on the game on Saturn, a little bit, you know, with that. What was that?
But the
really stupid one.
But just so I can close my point here, the reason why they would rather have a $500
long term.
Yes,
they're not a flash.
They're feeling like Kuon at 700 trade value. Maybe 2 months from now, the best they can get is 500 trade value. So they want to try to trade it for 7 while they
saw
can.
what happened to some NES titles, and they learned that they didn't want to be in that situation.
Big stuff can come down a little bit. It won't tank, man, but like Samsung could come down a little bit. So they want to put their money. They want to tie that up. They want to exchange it into
they're value-driven collectors.
Yeah.
And then it's like they go on this big adventure of full setting, and even like someone we know full setted PS1, they told me, and then they sold it off. Full setted some other stuff, and then they sold it off. And it's like, I get it. People have limited
This
funds.
individual that you're talking about, I know you're talking about. Chris and I will never name names when we give examples of local area people. But if that local area person ever tuned in, they would know that we're talking about. But this individual is always very savvy about. He loves full setting stuff. He always chooses the right thing at the right time, and then he gets rid of it when it peaks out. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't make any profit. I think he just breaks even, but he'll just dump it on a game store, and this stuff rises that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to where
This individual right now, by the way, Chris, he might have finished and moved on already, but he was gunning for, last I knew about was PSP.
Okay.
You know, because it is kind of like a kind of a frontier that could absolutely get hotter. You know, more collectors could start to lean that direction, and some of those 80, 90 years could become 250. Talking Hammer and Hero, for example. PSP is a good one. Oh, it's getting so dark it's hard for me to read my shit. Can we explain the collector purist?
Yeah.
And can we actually name drop your friend?
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna use his last name, but Chris has a friend named Tim, man.
The definition of a collector purist that truly will not sell, regardless of value, 90% of the time.
You've got this autistic friend named Tim. No, that's so weird.
That's terrible.
But it's and I can relate to Tim because I fell in love with video game collecting at one point in my life. Now I'm a dealer, so it's all values to me now. But there was a point in time where I was absolutely a purist collector, because, I mean, do you mind if I tell my little story here?
Go ahead.
What got me into collecting is Streets of Rage 3 and Shining Force 2. Streets of Rage 3 because my brother and I absolutely loved Streets of Rage 1 and 2, and we owned 1 and 2, but we never owned 3. We'd rent the shit out of it, and rentals were so cheap back then when like PS1 came out. Genesis became, Family Video had 2 Genesis games for 50 cents for a week.
Wow.
So it was nothing. It was absolutely
literally
nothing.
Even with inflation.
There was no need to own Genesis games. You just rent them. So if Streets of Rage 3 was ever in stock, it was like a 2 for 50. Let's try something new and let's go with the proven. We're in the mood for it. All the time we're in the mood for Streets 3. Turns out we had great taste, man. Eric and I always felt like we never experienced a more fun beat 'em up, and it turns out in hindsight I can still 32-year-old Dave that now I know all beat 'em ups that have ever come out, and in my opinion, Streets of Rage 2 and Streets of Rage 3 are the most technically, visually, audio, great music. Yuzo Koshiro, they are masterpieces of the beat 'em up genre. They're the best. Final Fight, sorry man, I don't even know where you rank. Probably up there, maybe second, but okay, I'm trailing off. Streets 3. Going to my very first retro, quote-unquote retro game store back in around like 99 or 2000, and Streets 3 is behind glass, unlike Streets 2 and Streets 1. Why is this, man? Streets 3 is more expensive than 1 and 2. In my opinion, Streets 3 was Eric and my favorite, man. Well, most people say 2, but man, I like 3 more. And I'm coming from a background of coin collecting. In my infancy, my dad and I would collect coins, so it just instantly the light bulb went off. Made sense.
Yeah.
Supply and demand.
When you also have the realization that, of course, like every video game made in history back in the era, like of course they didn't all print the same amount.
Yes, and I was already of that mindset where I was like, I've been looking for Streets 3. I keep going across 1 and 2. 3's harder to find, and then it's more expensive. I was like, this is cool. I want to get into this. And the first thing I'm curious about is like, what other games are as expensive as Streets 3 or more expensive? Because I'll bet they're awesome games. You know what I mean? It's like price should probably correlate with
in general
with good shit. Yeah, and especially in the infancy of video game collecting, it was 100% true.
Oh yeah,
man.
oh yeah. And this is back in a time where there were no repros, there was no emulation of cartridges.
Golden era, dude. I wish I could drag you back just for a day to experience it. Bought my first Snatcher at $60. Just easy all day long. They were 60, but I had to have it, you know, because I become a collector at like 12 years old, and I'm on internet forums learning about, you know, what I perceive as very savvy individuals would talk about Panzer Dragoon Saga, Snatcher, and they became your early on chase pieces. Just it's funny how they were proportionately less than a tenth of where they're at now. So you're collecting because you love playing games. You also do have an appreciation for owning a fantastic game that was printed very scarcely because the publisher didn't anticipate much demand. They wanted to make sure that they didn't take a loss, right, on printing too many copies of Snatcher. So it's kind of an adult game. So, you know, it is what it is. It turns out it's a brilliant game, and there's not enough to go around. And it turns out that the director of the game goes on and makes one of the most legendary video game series of all time, Metal Gear Solid.
So. Yeah, this is kind of a random thought I had, but I would argue pretty strongly that most, and I think a lot of people would disagree, but most pure of heart collectors are not full setters, almost none.
Yes, yeah. When you find a true purist collector,
they have no desire to.
Values really aren't the most important thing. It's their favorite games. So Sonic 3 could easily be the piece that they kind of front face. You know, and a lot of their Sonic stuff is front facing. Maybe I don't want to shit on Sonic fans, but maybe they're autistic, you know, and they love Sonic. Sonic fans are generally autistic. True. There's heavy correlation there. So they're front facing their Sonic while their Snatchers spined out. You know what I mean? They love what they love.
That's the definition of a true pure of heart collector. Yeah. No care of value.
And then you tell Tim, dude, do you know what Kuon's going for right now? And his answer is no. You know, he's not obsessively checking on his value of his collection.
My favorite example is Pokemon Box.
Oh, he has it, doesn't he?
In Outer Box, with Outer Box original owner bought it from the website.
And he wanted it. And here's an interesting concept about a collector purist. Purists can still love titles that they know are going to go up.
Yeah.
But he just loved it because it was rare. He could afford it because he's got a good paying job. Yeah. He had to pay probably $200-300 for it.
No, he bought it. He bought it when it came out.
You're fucking kidding me.
On the website, yeah.
Sorry, I glossed over. You just said that, and I glossed over it.
Yeah.
He bought it from
like Pokemon whatever in New York or whatever.
Probably one of the few people in existence that is an original owner of a Pokemon box.
And
he kept the mem card in the box because he's like.
I told him, I was like, you know, that's like. He's like, no.
My God.
I have no idea.
Devin, when we were in Atlanta, remember that big pickup that I did with Richard and brought it back? That was a collector purist there. Yep. He had such amazing taste, and all of his stuff was in uniform, seal removed condition.
Yep. It's interesting. You'll always
their stuff.
You'll always see that correlation with purist collectors. It's
very top tier condition.
Their I'm gonna call it their video game library that you acquire from them. It's gonna make sense when you look at it. You know.
Yep. Here's final thing on describing Collector Pierce, the reason why this individual from Atlanta, the reason why his taste was exquisite and all of his stuff was super mint. You know why his stuff was super mint? He bought it brand new. You know, he wasn't one of those thrifty gamers, that gamer collector value driven people that waits for it to get cheap as shit. He bought Rule of Rose factory sealed for $60.
Yep.
He opened it and
Yep.
kept it beautiful because it was survival. You know what I'm saying?
I will tell you what though, I feel like at least 50% of the purist collectors, as time goes on, they start to get overtaken by the value collector, and they start to transition. Like Tim bought
that can happen.
Tim bought Kuan for $80.
It happened to me. Sorry, go ahead.
Tim bought Kuan for $80. So that kind of.
Ooh, I can tell you what year he bought it based on that.
Yeah, and that just gives you an idea. Again, it's like he didn't foresee everything.
Tim bought Kuan. Ask him next time.
I will.
Ask him and see if I nailed it. Tim bought Kuan. $80 Kuan was purchased in 2015. Ask him. Give or take a year. So the reason why we went into all that depth talking Purist Collector is because that is the terrible form card to play. It's actually it's a strategic, dirty card to play when you are truly either a value-driven investor, or if you're a straight-up cold-blooded reseller.
A psychopath reseller. Not that resellers are psychopaths, but like that's what you turn to be.
You are a psychopath if you are in a community feigning that you're a Tim Feldman, and in reality you have an eBay account and this stuff goes straight on eBay.
It's so interesting.
You're a liar.
It's so interesting though, the correlation between the lying, secretly reselling, and doing a poor job of it, not maximizing at all. Also buying from final form owners that are the reseller, not cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting the correlation of the titles they choose and when they choose them.
Yeah, it's almost like
quite obvious.
They try to pick me off my Metal Jesus Future Hidden Gems all the time,
Yeah.
and I don't really care to move that stuff. They're offering me stuff that's really peaked out.
Yeah, peaked out.
I feel at least. They of course, if they were to listen to everything we said so far, they would feign ignorance.
And
now. They'd say, "What are you talking about, Dave?"
Another important thing to keep in mind here is like when they're offering these peaked out pieces, they're wanting the peaked out maximum value. They're not like, oh, I know Kuan's a little ridiculous. If they were a true collector, maybe they'd be a little generous, but no, they're like milking this for the whole freaking.
Yeah. They're feeling like it's time to move this. I'm scared.
Oh yeah, I want to get 800 trade on my Kuan.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
They're feeling FOMO on their super high-end stuff. Fear of missing out on maximum value.
Or
they want to move it.
They want to transition all their loose Super Nintendo cards into minty CIB PS1 collecting.
Hey, that happened with a dude locally.
I
actually want to bring up that dude locally. Can I really quick?
Dude.
Yeah, and the thing is, he is a purist, and I know it because
He brings it back.
He brings it back to me. He appreciates the reseller, and he appreciates my hustle, and he doesn't sell games for a living. He has a day job and everything, and he's keeping this hobby fun for him. He loves what he loves. He loves to get into stuff and get out of it, and I get that mindset of like the collector that doesn't have to have this stuff, doesn't have to hold on to it.
They had
Just
the experience. They had the experience.
They like to have had it, but they don't have to have it.
Exactly.
So they experience it. Yeah, they get to own it, and while they experience and own it, they want it to be nice and CIB. Like I'm just gonna say his name, Phil. We love Phil. He's always getting my good stuff, but he always brings it back to me. And even if it's gone up since the time, it's almost like he respects. I don't know. He cuts me great deals, man. So, and then because I call that.
Let me just check out the time.
Yes.
Looking on it in case it's cut off.
Going?
Yep.
Cool. So because I call it good form on his part, because he's taking care of me. Guess what? I like taking care of Phil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I can surprise him with a number,
it's genuine.
It is. Yeah.
It is truly.
It's usually quid pro quo, tick for tack. It's usually like I win some, he wins some, but we have this. It's not calculated. It's not like I'm gonna write down how much of a hookup. Right? It's like if because Phil will tell me, he'll be like, dude, I'm gonna give you a number that you're gonna be happy with. I'll be like, hit me, baby, and boom, and I'm like, Jesus, Phil. And then And then when it goes, and then it's like, and this is what I'm trying to trade you off of.
Yeah.
And then I'm very friendly with my numbers on my
And
stuff.
on top of the idea of like getting, I understand. I worked in a coin shop for 5 years, and like I understand retail and the whole like. Sometimes you might actually. This is gonna take a second.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might actually feel a little embarrassed to bring something back to who you bought it from. Bring it back to the dealer.
I get that.
But in many instances, almost always, unless they're ripping you off, the dealer should be very excited for this opportunity.
Yes.
And on top of that, they should normally, and I know you do this, is kind of let your buyer know. I do it with my local people that would buy from me locally. Like, if you ever want to sell it, please bring it to me first. I will give a strong offer for that. I want that piece back.
Because you're gonna buy it back for less than what you sold it to them for. Your margin is free now. Now it's just money in thin air. If you think about it, you know what I mean by that?
I know what you mean.
So it's like I just made $300 and I still have the item.
Yes.
Because I got it back. But super important, good form on the dealer in that situation to not lowball
Absolutely.
on a piece that's coming back to you.
Yep.
That's gonna just tell the person that you're a terrible cutthroat.
And in general, those dealers that would lowball, they would never suggest bringing it back. I don't really see a strong correlation in general.
Yeah, you got your good form dealers and your
Yeah.
coins are especially like that.
Absolutely.
You have this
You're
huge
trying to,
spectrum
in coins, you see a lot of dealers that try to bury their customer and don't ever want to hear from them again.
I don't care if they ever offend somebody and that person says, I'm going to leave you nasty reviews and never come back.
Yeah.
They'll just laugh at you.
Yeah.
Because they're just monsters of individuals, in my opinion, you know? But hey, it's what worked for them.
I've got another topic.
Yeah.
Almost kind of a closing point on this section here, but
Ready to close it up.
I would say that, you know, to the honestly, the scumbag buyers that feign ignorance or feign the purest collector card.
I
Like,
love this piece.
we as dealers, I personally, I know you as well, would have a lot more respect if you openly spoke your thought process of like, oh, I like this piece because I'm sure it's going to go up in the future.
Yeah, it's a counterintuitive.
Go ahead and elaborate on that.
It's a counterintuitive strategy to be transparent. With what you're thinking in a deal. I know that playing poker with a seller is now, and let me clarify before I go any deeper. I'm talking about as a buyer, you're interacting with a dealer of value. I'm not talking about a garage sale owner.
We're talking about someone that is likely in a local community that you will see again.
Yes, this really applies to community, and this would apply in our local community. I'd say the number one person you don't want to ever burn would be Devin. And the reason is, shout out to Devin. He's in a lot of the warehouse videos and stuff. Obvious fucking reason, but Devin will take like common stuff that he can sell really well.
He'll overvalue it.
He'll give you
trade-wise.
a fat, huge value on melees that are complete nice shapes. Mario Sunshine's complete nice shape. He'll give you way more trade value than anyone else. And also, anybody that's looking to trade for that stuff, what do you think they have to offer? Not much.
Yeah,
you know?
Devin has a huge selection.
Devin has
an amazing selection.
Crazy high-end
now you
stuff.
have to.
And he's willing to trade it off for like stupid monkey shit. You know?
Yeah, you have to pay a premium to be able to see. For someone to have such an amazing selection as Devin, of course there needs to be a premium associated with that opportunity.
Yep.
But at the same time, you're getting that back with you're getting trade values you would never get from anyone else. You can't have it both ways as the buyer. You can't have it both ways. I think a lot of the problem, real quick, comes from like these really old school ways that were ingrained in collectors pre-2015, like about just like stuff that's carried over from the garage sale type attitudes, and like stuff should be $5, every game should be under $10. Like thinking about the old days, like it's just not how it is anymore.
And then the new guys who tune into who they perceive to be as experienced vets of retro game hunting will tune into channels like locally we got Scott Squatch, and Scott Squatch as an experienced local hunter will give them advice like, make small talk with the seller, try to ask them how much for everything, he teaches you how to nickel and dime people, and it's great advice for garage sales
Garage
for
sales
getting it as
and-
low as possible,
and
but
for the short term.
for the short term. But I want to talk about the karma of doing the opposite, and that's how it'll pay off. I'm kind of out of order here.
It's all right.
First,
It's all
I want to give just a few examples of bad form.
Yeah, go ahead.
And my first example would be kind of like what you were saying about being transparent, being honest about your feelings on something. Here's good form. You tell Devin, dude, I really want to go for that minty CIB Tron Bon on PS1. Does it have the bonus disc? Be like, oh yeah, it's very nice. And then Devin might even volunteer to be like, that's why I know the price is pretty steep. You know, I'm wanting 400. I don't know what Tron Bon's going for now,
Whatever.
but it's like it's really nice. And then if again you're getting to trade your stuff for it, your stuff that nobody else is going to trade value well.
And on top of that, you're trading a large quantity of items for a single item.
So to not offend Devin, don't go pointing out any little flaw you can in Tron Bon to try to get him to lower his price. That's called shitty form, man.
Absolutely.
Don't, like, if I have a price on something that has damage to it, you better believe I factored that into my fucking price.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I'm aware. I saw it. You know, I see the manual is only a front cover. Also, you know, it's missing manual. It only has the front page of the manual stuffed in there. It presents well. That's why I'm selling it for X less than I would if it was a nice CIB. Just an example. You don't need to say, hey,
don't hammer it into it.
Yeah, you know, it's 70. It's like, well, it's got that torn man. You dumb fuck.
What do you think?
That's
we're
what
stupid? Do you think we're stupid?
Yeah, that's what Chris and I are thinking ourselves.
We don't notice that. That's how that. Not to sound. I don't know. This sounds dumb, but it's like that's the feeling that you're. Whatever the word is, I don't know the word, purveying to us or whatever.
Yeah. You're suggesting.
You're suggesting that you think that I'm doing my job wrong and that I'm an idiot.
Yeah, like I made a mistake. Like I made a pricing error. Like I'm using price charting and I must have gone with CIB when really this is missing manual, Dave. Bad, just shitty form. If a good form, instead, if you ever pass on something, don't say ugh. Don't make a face.
Absolutely
don't
not.
Look disgusted. Don't try to
Where is that going to get you? What good do you think that's going to do for you?
I think in the short term, I think these types of individuals like to try to make the seller feel bad.
Yeah,
but really, all they're doing
is dirty
they're burning a bridge, man.
Absolutely.
Like that person's gonna say, "Wow, I'm not gonna really give this person my time anymore."
That also goes into real quick. For example, say that like in the Devin Tron Bond scenario case, that either there wasn't a price on Tron Bond, or that Devin hadn't valued their end yet. For example, like you need to be really upfront with if you're like, yeah, I'm looking at as the potential buyer, I'm looking at Tron Bond, hoping that you're going to call it like 100. Don't get into some big process where you're so out of.
Yes. So you're saying if your objective is to get something for a steal, you know, for a third of its value, and you know you're basically banking on this guy making a big old error, like,
just don't waste people's time.
Yeah.
And again, that comes back to be upfront, you know.
Upfront, as opposed to like having Devin trade value all of your stuff that you're offering to him, only to pass on everything that he quotes you retail on. Well, he's gonna quote you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. No, you're
beating the dead horse on
it.
Like Devin is the man. Respect him. It'll behoove you.
Yeah.
It'll
don't
to ever make him feel like he's outrageous. He's wrong. You know, it's all you're gonna do is miss out on opportunities in the future.
Yep. You're going to get the stuff that you're never going to see. And on top of that, you know, I noticed a lot of these bad form behaviors, there seems to be a high correlation with just noob collectors, really new to the scene.
Yeah.
People that have been doing it for like under a year or like under 3 years or something. And
odds are they're having success with their garage sale tactics, dude. Like, like we see a lot of this at meetups, at Tampa Bay Trade Day events and stuff. We see a lot of these dirty tactics. and I think a lot of it just comes from it's working for them when they're garage sailing. Let's use it on fellow hardcore, knowledgeable, local people. It's not gonna. It's just not gonna work, man.
People just have this like natural over self-confidence, I guess, maybe, where they think that they're the smartest, smartest egg in the basket, and it's just not always the case.
Yeah, anybody that if you karma, man, if you roam this earth trying to just constantly trick people because you think you're smarter than everybody, there's gonna be people just as smart as you that decide that that's not the road to go down. Yep. And they can see a snake in the grass. They can see a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yep. They can see a shepherd who's a wolf in disguise. That's my analogy for when somebody tries to run a community and all they're doing is little insider trading, market manipulation, blah,
They
blah,
have
blah.
a secret motive, it's not the pure facade that they have.
Yep.
Moving on.
Good on form. It's getting so dark.
Yeah, I can't read my examples.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use the light emitting from this phone just to read. And we're just gonna close it up here, I think, unless you want to get into really quickly labels.
I say we save that for another one. I think that's a good opening on another GDT.
Can we quickly tell the funny Netlink story?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
And then I want to close on collusion with PS1 and
yeah.
Klonoa, door to Phantom Mile, Klonoa, door to Phantom Mile, Samson 2.0, market manipulation, Daytona Netlink. Again, you stay cool with Devin, like Chris and I stay cool with Devin. Devin gets in a Daytona CCE
Netlink edition. Gem mint from original owner.
Oh my God, it was
Gem mint from original owner.
Perfect.
I should have kept it.
With for those that don't know what we're talking about, you just have to look it up. The holiest of holy grails on the Sega Saturn.
It is the stadium events of Sega Saturn.
And it's rare than stadium events. There's fewer confirmed owners.
It never surfaces to it.
Did you ever find a count on confirmed ownership when you had yours for sale? Would you speculate a number, maybe 30 or less, probably?
I'd say maybe 50. That might actually be high, but
I can see that being like as far as confirmed ownership, probably lower, but maybe true ownership around 50.
Really quickly, and you might touch on this, but I just want to say, Daytona Netlink, for those that don't know, it's identified by the disc is unique. It says Netlink Edition on it, Daytona CCE Netlink Edition. It's like a red or like a purple instead of like an orange on CCE, and also it has a black and white supplemental manual that says Daytona Netlink Edition on it. That's what. So
those are the two unique components:
a
supplemental manual and a unique disc. And the reason why the disc has to be unique is because it has unique data on the disc, and the reason for the unique data is because this game was released to be the version of Daytona that you could play online. Yeah,
right.
With the other ones you can't.
Netlink adapter.
So you get your Netlink for Sega Saturn, you play Daytona. Daytona, the version that you can play online, which you can still play it online today. Yeah. If you jerry-rig the server or whatever. So the very few Daytona Netlink owners can play their Saturns online again.
And also this was, I'm sure I'm right on this, but correct me if I'm wrong. This was only orderable through mail order.
That I'm not sure. I'm certain though. I can deduce that.
Not like you couldn't go into a Walmart.
It's not like they're super rare because they got distributed and then recalled. That's not how this story goes. It was mail order for sure. So the story of the Netlink and the terrible form experience.
Oh, beautiful. You have to tell.
Devin gets in the probably nicest example in
that's
existence.
Open.
There are sealed ones.
Not sealed.
Yeah. So it really couldn't get any nicer. This thing was mint.
Nope. Amazing.
Supplemental included. In Devin's possession, I like to troll on Facebook. I'll be honest. But when I troll, it's because
to expose the evil.
Yeah, I really don't like, and I'll get on because I expose some evil. Somebody hit me with terrible form, man, and I was kind of fishing for this, so I'm fishing with this troll piece. A Daytona Netlink edition, of course, that's great troll bait in the Sega Saturn hardcore Facebook communities, where people can have full set everything, including every Working Designs game they have 4 copies of it. Why? Because they have every variant of Dragon Force and Albernazi, blah blah blah.
Every disc color.
These people are hard freaking core, and guess what? Their bottleneck to true full set is Daytona Netlink. That's
so some of them will be like, oh, I don't include that.
I don't. Yeah, that's a variant. Yeah, but you got 4 copies of Dragon Force. You love your variants. So
Well, you take it for free.
I post it up and I pretend like I'm kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you're the.
Just not sure on a value. I get blown up, of course.
Yeah.
Because when somebody sounds dumb and they have something precious, let's go rape him. Let's go rape him. So I rape baited myself. And a bunch of rapists came after me, dude. It was terrible, man. I've never had so many rapists come after me. And this one rapist, man, he was more of a date rapist. So
It's the worst. They're all bad, but
this is that that shitty form. I'll just tell the story.
Tell the story and they'll know.
This dude tried to suck my dick, you guys, for a Daytona Netlink. Well, not literally. He figuratively.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah, he was hoping I'm having a great evening.
Never met or talked to you before.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy
It's
is.
just like, I hope you sleep well.
Yeah, well,
Did you
yeah.
have a good dream.
Yeah, I mean, just his initiation with the message is like, you know, hello, friend. I see you're in Florida. Hope the weather's good over there. You know, it's like, what the fuck are we talking about?
How are your children? Is your family doing well?
Yeah, you want to get to know me? You want to use those Sasquatch tactics where you talk to me about other stuff, try to make a little side chat, you know, so that maybe you trick me into, you know, just becoming friends with you, you know?
Yeah, well.
Knowing damn well that the reason why this message was initiated is because you are hungry for, you're trying to rape
it
me.
wasn't obvious. Like it wasn't obvious. You know,
Yeah.
we're not dumb. But we'll play along with you.
I did play
reel
with
you
him. Yeah, I reeled him, man. He was hooked. He was hooked the moment I posted the picture, man.
Yeah.
The bait was in his mouth and it hooked him. So I guess I did waste his time.
Big old bass.
He really tried to butter me up, and that's all keystrokes.
I mean, they deserve it.
I agree.
In my opinion.
So, here's the truth about this Netlink thing. How many have sold in the past like 5 years? Like maybe
It doesn't.
2?
It's one of those examples where you say like it doesn't go for anything.
Yes, when people say, well, what does Netlink go for? All you can say is like, well, the last 2 went for. As far as what it goes for, it doesn't go. It doesn't go.
That doesn't mean it's reliable data.
Right.
2 sales.
Let's say there's a game
reliable data.
Let's say NWC goes 5 years without one being sold,
Yep.
and somebody says, well, what does NWC go for? Well, the truth is, it's not going for anything.
Yep.
It's there's none
It's
available.
going for what the next 2 people decide on.
These are inherently, we use this acronym NIOP. I mean, we say it
Name
NIOP.
your own price.
NYOP. It's name your own price. If you shoot for the stars, sometimes you land on the moon. That is to say, you ask a $500,000. This is how I would sell a gold NWC. I'd ask $500K for it if I wanted $200K for it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. That's how grail selling is maximized.
Yeah.
And anybody with a grail is
Maximize,
gonna
optimize.
maximize on it.
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as being friendly with a
Yep.
grail.
It's not 2005 anymore.
Never gonna happen. Nobody's gonna hook Pat up with another NWC because he's such a lovely.
He's also
hardcore
clearly
collector.
undeserving now.
He's value driven.
He's exposed his inner demon.
So I guess the main part of the story that just tickled me, I don't know, it's maybe anticlimactic for a funny story, but the next day, I wake up to a message from him saying, it started with "Good morning, hope you slept well."
Good morning,
The
sweetie
gayest
pie.
thing a fellow man has ever said to me. Seriously, man, like, what the hell, you know?
To
a stranger.
A stranger.
Yeah.
A stranger. It's like,
Hoping that I slept well.
like,
Maybe,
How do you-
hey, well, maybe he's being honest. Maybe
maybe he was gay.
Well, no. Maybe he was being honest about hoping I slept well, because when you sleep well, you're in a better mood.
Oh, and you're.
And maybe he's hoping that I slept well, because if I didn't sleep well, I'd be cranky.
Mhm.
And date rapist isn't gonna have fun with a cranky bitch, you know. He wants I don't know, but to me that was just slime ball maneuver.
That was
yeah. To prove how terrible this individual
Did you ever
was.
get to a price?
I did.
Oh yes, dude.
But
Keep it going,
but
keep it
no,
going.
this is where
I gotta hear
we tell the story in an interesting narrative where we go
Okay.
out of order, out of chronological order to make
Okay.
the climax. So what I'm going to hold back for the climax, then we're going to end this video, is what he wanted to pay.
Okay.
Because as the story goes, Cris, using his
obtained
great
it.
form, obtained it from Devin. How did you obtain it?
This is a little while ago. I forget, maybe 1.5 years ago, but
I think 2 by now. Yeah.
2 by now, maybe, yeah. I just asked Devin, what do you want to call it, or what do you value it at? Like, not in a rude way, in like a.
Oh, that good form. Yep.
He told me, I want 3,000 trade on it. I was like, all right, cool.
No problem.
Like,
Chris
we'll
thought.
work with that.
Absolutely.
And especially with how he was valuing my end.
Give examples. What kind of stuff?
Arrow fighters for 850.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Nice label. Arrow 850.
Yeah.
Okay.
Decently nice label. No. Yeah.
Surprised he was trading down for.
Yeah,
I'm going off on a dumb tangent. Yeah.
Well, it was so hard to price, and at the time, by the way, there was actually one on eBay for like 2,000.
I just would have figured that he would have been more into like going for nothing but
he had
fire emblems and stuff
he
like
had
that.
a confirmed sale on the Arrow already.
That's why he went for Arrow.
Yeah.
Cool. Got a few other examples of titles and values, just so that the folks at home know.
I really don't.
Then get back. What's the?
I really can't.
Didn't you ever trade Fire Emblem to him?
Oh yeah, Path of Radiances. I traded him so many Path of Radiances.
And that game has changed in value, so if you were to give a value, it wouldn't mean much.
At the time,
it was top dollar.
It truly was like max 125.
Mm-hmm.
I traded many at 100 to him.
Okay, so
not necessarily in that specific trade, but
and that's when you're trading up for something. Holy shit!
When you're trading a large quantity for a single item, which is always what I want to do, of course you need to understand that, and you need to disrespect your end a small bit. You know?
Well, I'll give the reason for this is because, like, hey, if I can make $2,000 on one piece, it's gonna be much less time. It's gonna be much easier, much logistically. It's better, smarter move to just have that one piece than $2,000 worth of $10 NES cards. That's brutal. That's completely retarded.
Yep.
So, so that's why that's kind of one end of the spectrum. That's like a hyperbole again. But anywhere short of a 1-for-1 trade, if you're trading 3 pieces for 1 piece, it can get circumstantial, you know. But if the guy with the one fat piece is a pretty liquid, easy to move, solid piece, and like he needs to win on the value exchange. He needs to be able to make more money with the 20 pieces he took for his 1 piece. Better give him some value incentive.
And that goes back to the whole. No, that's all right. That ties into the whole. I would just say poor form. You know, not acknowledging.
To assume otherwise is poor form.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to realize that again. You can't be winning on both ends. That's not right. Yeah. Just not right. That's not how it works. But anyway, where should I keep going?
I guess. Yeah, just valued your.
So we did the trade.
Let me ask you this: do you remember most pieces were probably of?
Most
50,
pieces were
50
under.
to 100.
Most pieces were within the
40
50 to maybe 150.
Yep.
Was the general average.
Solid stuff that he could either move it.
But it was
sell
very. It was like dripping wet liquid.
Yeah. So, we're talking Super Metroid maybe, Secret of Mana maybe, Chrono Trigger maybe, Earthbound maybe. Yeah. So great shit that has good value. And Chris got to trade all of that for pretty much what he would net on eBay if you were to sell them. Would you agree with that? You know, to go like, if the item was a 150 and he's calling it 130 trade, that's what you'd be netting.
He almost was calling it what I would ask on eBay.
Well, that's crazy really awesome. Cool. That's super cool because they were that liquid of titles for him probably.
And the way that he moves them, he didn't have to worry about that really.
And you got to call it 3.
We called it 3,000 trade.
And then what did you sell? I
remember.
And how long did it take to sell?
It took, I'd say, about 6 months, maybe a little less.
So you were.
And I ended up, I had it thrown up on eBay for 5,000. I don't even think I had OBO on it. No, I never did.
How many other copies were on eBay, Chris?
None at the time. I waited it out, and by the way, pro tactic: when someone has a Netlink up for $2,000, you throw yours up for $5,000. Boy, it makes that $2,000 look nice. So that $2,000 went away pretty fast.
That's fun. That's how it happened, huh? So there's guys at 2, yours at 5. All of a sudden, his moves.
His was at 2 on eBay, so you're losing at least, losing at least 200.
Yeah.
Anyway, on fees. Anyway, so I had it up, and eventually a guy that was the CEO of some company messaged me and was like, yeah, I bought this off eBay, like yada yada, what could you do, blah blah blah. Did some back and forth, but I could tell this guy was legitimate. He had a serious account.
Was his company related to video game collecting?
No, not at all.
Just
not
curious.
at all. It was completely outside of it.
Just
but
a
very
baller.
legit
He's
guy.
got money.
Guy was like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe older. And probably older. And
He's
anyway,
got money.
anyway, we came to a conclusion, and I called it $3,000 cash and $60 to ship it, and like fully insured, the whole deal.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
Outside of
risk
eBay,
anything.
so you're pocketing
It was
all.
outside of eBay. He sent a check in, mailed me a check.
It cleared.
It cleared, and then I immediately mailed it to him. The guy was 100% super legit, nothing to worry about.
Did he have good form? I'm sure he
Oh,
did.
very much so. Wrote a very
He had
professional
good form.
letter, very professional like business letter.
He
hand
saved
signed it.
$2,000 by having good form.
Yeah.
You know, he got you
Yeah.
to sell it outside of eBay
Dude was
because he was
solid.
he.
Normally, I don't cut those kind of deals.
Well, it's
like,
risky too.
It is
so
risky.
so
It
he
is very
obviously his form was so
That's
sharp
why I-
that like
yeah.
he got
Again,
gained your
I had
confidence.
him send the check, waited for it to clear, and again, I also acknowledge, I appreciate that trust on both ends. It's like he clearly trusted me.
Yeah,
I could
true.
have ran away.
Mutual that. So now
Yeah.
you guys can do baller deals in the future
Yeah.
if he maybe follows you and
Yeah.
you have something crazy that he wants again. He knows that hey, I can do an off eBay sale with Chris, and they trust each other.
Yep. And anyway, so yeah, it was a $3,060 check. Overnight mailed it, fully insured it, and all that. Which like sometimes I'll kind of like not do that stuff, but just for professionalism in this case, it needed to be done.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's how it went, And
Got your 3,000. So you got to trade a bunch of stuff that collectively was worth $3,000, and then you'd have to spend time picturing it, listing it,
Yep.
selling it,
A lot
taking,
of
and then
fees
taking
and
a fee.
a lot of shipping costs as well.
And instead, you were able to get the full $3,000.
Yep.
Because that $60 covered your shipping. You
Yep.
got to pocket $3,000
Yep.
instead because you traded with Devin, and because you were patient. You're very good at selling that grail.
While at the same time, many people would have looked at that and been like, "Wow, you're an idiot. Wow, you're overpaying." Yada yada yada.
Yeah, like he was overpriced.
Yeah.
That's because it has a historical value of
Like $1,200.
3 years ago. It went for one went for 15, one went for 900 back in
Yep.
2016
Yep.
at auction. See, so when when buyers have bad form, they'll try to show you 2016
Yeah,
sales
yeah.
on a game that hasn't
And-
surfaced since 2016.
And in addition to that, they're gonna try to completely gloss over. Well, this is a truly mint, seal removed, as we like to call it, condition. Like,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
it.
worth a premium over a
True,
handled one.
true. When we're looking on price
Really
charting at the ones that that one went for 9, that one went for 12. We can't even see if it had the supplemental manual or
Yeah,
not. You can't
or
even
if the
click.
cover was on it.
Yeah, so
How scuffy was the disc? This disc was unplayed. Could barely take it out of the case.
So the guy, he did use those tactics on me. My
Oh, yeah,
sweet dreams, sugar daddy rapist.
Sweet net link dreams.
He did have some evidence to back up his offer,
Mhm.
but I want to say he came at me with a grand.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna guess.
You gonna say
I
that?
was gonna guess it.
I mean, and
to where it's like in his mind, like this is such a legitimate offer. He's gonna love it.
And
Overconfident.
Oh, and this reminded me of another terrible form thing, and we'll close on this. He
Okay.
did another classic bad form indicator, or just a shitty thing to ever do. Is like comes at me at 1,000, and I forget how I pass on him. But keep in mind, I am trolling him.
Yeah.
And
then
so
when he countered-
I think I said something like, well, there's other people interested.
Yeah.
Panic him the fuck
Oh,
out.
man,
I'm
that's
trying to stress
beautiful.
this motherfucker out. He's trying to rape me. So it's like, I got other people interested. Let me see if what they were thinking. Blah blah blah. Instantly his offer changes to like 12 or something like that. He ups,
Go with your
ups
best
it.
hour first.
Exactly, man.
Come
Like
on. It's a horrible look. It's a horrible look.
again, though, I did put off the image that I was a soccer mom.
Yeah.
And I was easily raped.
Well, either way.
But
if it's too good to be true, it's gonna be.
it's just funny to
It's gonna be.
bring out his shitty,
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
expose him as a dirtbag,
Yeah.
because that would have been rape, man. For him to pay $1,000 for something that he could turn around and sell for $3,000
Yeah.
almost instantly.
Yeah.
That's rape. That's wrong.
Mhm.
Guy deserves to be fucking exposed.
That's
for
like
it.
some of these video
but
game stores,
whatever.
man. I'm not gonna name names, but I've heard about some on some videos on YouTube where they're like, "Yeah, we generally give 50% of price charting in trade, and if it's cash, we give 50% of that, so 25% of price charting in cash." And it's like, come on, man. I know that I know that you have to pay rent, you have to pay utilities, you got to pay employees, you got to pay taxes, and you got to make some profit. But at the same time, it's like
overly greedy is gonna end
you.
you.
You gotta really,
You're
you know, yeah.
You can't be lowballing. You can't, because that's part of form is being fair. You know, if you got an easy juicy margin on that Earthbound, you don't need to be at $50 standard for buying it. Your standard for buying Earthbound could be higher. Factor in liquidity, factor in what it is, factor your turnaround time on the item. Be as fair as possible. And the great closer, I want to close on this, is the positive aspect of great form is karma. You'll get great karma when you surprise the soccer mom that comes in. She happens to have Chrono Trigger in there, and you point it and you let her know exactly what it was that cranked up her trade value. Maybe you don't got to be specific and tell her what you paid for it, but you could tell her like, yeah, if everything you brought in, I would be happy to give you. You're saying you're wanting an Xbox One and some games today. Well, you're gonna get more than an Xbox One and some games. You know, because I'm gonna give you 250 trade for all this. And she blows her freaking mind, man.
Education is key too, because I mean, like, say that happened, they had no idea why, and they're like, wow, and then they go buy 50 more games, bring them in, and then you only offer a lot less because there's no good titles, and then they don't understand. They don't understand why.
They'll end up coming back. I mean, you instantly have won them over from any other local game store that maybe because you don't know this stuff when you're the dealer. You don't know if they've already tried 2 other stores and then
and not that shouldn't be the reason for our reasoning, and it's not. But
it honestly is. It's just my main motive for trying to always be fair, even when I think I can rape.
Put the nasties out of business.
No, it's to kind of. It's I'm petrified of the person secretly knowing, testing me and trying to expose me for being a rotten lowballer. So I always shoot as fair as I feel I can be, and
still make a living in the business.
And it's actually kind of a power play too, because a lot of times when they counter me upwards, I can hard pass. And then a lot of times that person bringing stuff into me will say okay, and they'll settle for my offer. It made everything easy, where like I would just shoot out one offer, tell them what their stuff is worth.
You don't have to get worried about like, oh man, is he gonna figure? Oh man.
And let me get into the karma, the reward of, because yes, I know the soccer mom, I could have got it for nothing, and then I would have made more money, right? But in the long run, I feel like I did make more money because I don't know who came into my store randomly to sell me stuff because they were informed
by her how much future buying she may do. Or how much more she may have, and on top of that, it may be a year down the road, but even longer. But at some point, she may hear from someone or see somewhere, and be like, "Wow, I know for a fact I had that game, and that game store essentially gave me $5 for that." You never know when it's gonna come back, when it's gonna reach them.
Everybody that gets ripped off by a game store, there's a chance that they're gonna find out that they got ripped off.
It may be 2-3 years down the road, but
you don't know how vindictive they can be. They can write negative reviews. They can, I don't know. It's just be good to other people, and goodness will come back to you. Is that a good wrap up?
Yep.
Good shit, man. Thanks for tuning in, guys.